This is just a quick guide to show you guys how to pretty consistently keep up a permanent banner as a Necrolord prot warrior. This is something a lot of people have been asking about in the Discord, so I thought this would just be a useful thing to kind of refer to just show some little tricks to kind of keep that up pretty much permanently, at least in single target combat. So these are the talents. I'm assuming you guys are going to be running Mythic Plus here. The only difference is that you would drop Ravager for Into the Fray if you were raiding, but the principle remains the same. It's not a huge difference either way. For your Soulbind, you can play Marileth or Hermir, but generally I think Marileth is the easiest one to just be and kind of forget and never worry about it too much. Obviously the biggest thing is you want Veteran's Repute, so your banner gives you a bunch of strength. A lot of the stuff here is interchangeable. This isn't sort of a full guide, so we're not going to worry about that too much. The most important thing in terms of banner maintenance, though, is the Unnerving Focus giving you 66% rage on your Last Stand rage generation. I'm not using any macros here apart from this one that I have on Control 4. All this does is this one here. So all this is going to do is pop banner, Last Stand, any DPS trinkets you've got, and Avatar. You just use this on the pole. The main thing here is that this just lets you rip all of your cooldowns and pop banner during your charge, so that as soon as you get in there, you don't have to sort of waste your first global on banner and then watch your DPS die. So I'll be doing this on the tank dummy, just because that hits you back, generates a bit more rage. Obviously, if you really want to practice this, you could have a friend come and stand next to you for intervene, but as you'll see, it's really not necessary to keep up a full banner. So we're just going to go here in 3, 2, 1. So charge in, hit that macro, get all your cooldowns running, and instantly you'll see that I am just spamming Ignore Pain. Get that outburst up, and even through all this Ignore Pain spam, you're probably going to overcap some range. Get your Ravager down. You could probably do that a few globals earlier. The thing to kind of realize is that not every single global is super strict on Prot Warrior. If Shield Slam is up, you really want to use that. But other than that, don't fret too much about the choice between Revenge and Thunderclap. As long as you are pressing something, you're pretty much going to be good. So you'll see as soon as the Last Stand window is down, I'm at like 25-30 seconds of banner. So that really the biggest thing is making sure your Last Stand window is really good and that you're not overcapping and that you are just spamming a ton of Ignore Pains during it. So first thing here is the reprisal management. So you'll see that I'm sitting on 2 charges of charge right now. That is very bad. That is the first thing you don't want to do. So as soon as you hit those 2 stacks, or slightly before ideally, you want to just run out, spend 1. You don't have to spend the second one right away. The most important thing is to just have the cooldown constantly running, because every second that it's not running is potential rage and shield block uptime wasted. So again, there it is. One thing about reprisal that a lot of people get mixed up is that like the only way to proc it is by like doing this, right? Leaping out, charging back in. The thing about that is that, I mean, it's fine, you can do it, but the thing is that entire time that you're leaping, like that's almost a full global that you're missing, right? Obviously you can leap really close behind yourself, but that's kind of fiddly, and if you're in the middle of a pack that's hitting you pretty hard, you kind of don't want to do that. So you'll see, right, I'm like, you want to get yourself so you're max melee range of the mob, right? If I step back any further, I'm not in melee range. And from this position, you literally jump out, charge, you're straight back in there. So if you're on a boss that is like has no cast and is always following you, then yes, quick leap out, charge back in, right? But that's extra button presses, it's extra thought, and when you're just getting used to the spec, like that can be a lot. And you also really want to make sure, right, you could easily mess up there and let the mob hit you in the back, and we never want that. That's always really bad. So the main thing is just, you know, while you're trying to maintain it like this, right, your two globals that generate the most rage, right, Ravager generates a ton, Demo Shout generates a ton, so you want to just make sure you're always popping those on cooldown, and the entire time, you know, on single target, I'm spending every single one of my outbursts on Shield Slam to get that 45 rage. On AoE, you can definitely pop it on Thunderclap if you need to, and you have a lot of rage. There's a lot of talk about what ratio you want. Generally, something like 4 Shield Slams for every 1 Thunderclap is like an okay ratio to go on AoE. But the main thing really is keeping up banner, and if you need that extra rage, then just do it on Shield Slam. This little tracker here I have, by the way, near my health bar, the 6, and then goes to the outburst. That's pinned in the skyhold protection Discord channel. There's a couple of different trackers you can use. I like this one just because I'm used to it and it's nice and simple. Yeah, I mean, and at this point, my last stand is back up. I mean, this whole time, right, I haven't dropped below 20%, 20 seconds remaining on banner. And this is not, this is not exactly super easy to achieve in a key. You're not often going to get 3.5 minutes of sustained combat in a key. That's kind of hard to do, right? But you can chain pull constantly, right? There's more rage you could be generating here from intervene. You can always be kind of optimizing this stuff. You're going to have more haste in a key these days as well. So, but yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the basis of it. The biggest thing that I think people underestimate a lot is making sure that last stand window is just absolutely insane, and just especially during last stand Ramager, just fucking spam IPs. Just press that button a lot. I've probably pressed ignore paid almost as much as I've pressed any other button here. And then the other thing as well is just reprisal management is super important. Making sure, not just for your rage here, but also for your block uptime. Never, ever, ever sit on 2 charges of charge. And I mean, I say this, I think a lot of us say this in the Discord a lot as well, is really, like, before you worry too much about actually getting into keys, you really should get onto the target dummy like I'm doing here, and just, like, you don't have to be keeping it up this well, but do this until you can consistently keep up a 2-minute banner. Or even a 3-minute banner, because that's when you start chaining last stands into each other, and that's when your banner really is just going to be effectively infinite. But yeah, I mean, from here it really is just, use those outbursts properly, keep up reprisal, right? I haven't been paying a huge amount of attention to my block uptime. If you wanted to practice this in a really proper environment, you could definitely just get a friend to come and stand next to you, and you could just intervene them, just to get a really good kind of idea. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it, guys. Just make sure you're constantly hitting some buttons. Never, ever have a dead global. If you ever find yourself in a situation like, right, I'll do it here on purpose, right? You find yourself in a situation like this where you haven't got enough rage to revenge, maybe Thunderclap's on cooldown. That's a really good opportunity to go and use that second stack of outburst. Because you don't have to have both charges on cooldown at once. That's, there's nothing more efficient about that than just having one charge of cooldown available. And then you can kind of keep that second charge in your back pocket to charge onto the next pack, or again, in a situation like this, get that revenge proc, keep feeding those globals, and just always be pressing something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys can always ping me on Discord and the prot channel if there's anything you have any questions about setup or anything like that. And yeah, good luck.